everyone, welcome back to South by Southwest Live on Fanservice. I'm Gavin Stone with Fanboy TV, joined by
Mark Martinez from the Austin Horror Society.
And our guest,
Stefan Norman, director and writer of Kekasih.
So with Kekasih, we kept mispronouncing. We had a debate earlier, like, how are we going to pronounce this? Right. Okay.
I'm from Texas. I can't pronounce anything.
We're from Texas. We're like, that's too many letters. Let's put a y'all in there.
Right. I'm from Malaysia. I can pronounce everything.
So let's tell everyone that's watching and listening, what is this film about?
So Kekasih is a film about a botanist who, struggles to reinvent his wife. His wife dies early on in the film, and he just goes on this maddening pursuit of trying to reinvent her.
And what I love about it is there's not enough crazy mad scientist movies out there. This is basically a mad scientist story gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Right. In Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Right.
Why did you choose to go with the botanist as opposed to, something else?
Well, because the film is loosely based on, or inspired by the poetry of Hafiz, in that the nightingale sings to the flower and the flower blossoms for the bird to continue singing.
Spoilers!
Right, sorry. But it's not well, we're trying to evoke a spiritual fiction. And I like the tone of poetry and taking it into sort of a sci-fi, world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So, yeah.
Now, when we were watching it earlier, we get these horror movies that I consider to be crazy, fun, weird.
Right.
But it's an entirely different culture from where this was made to what we expect in America as slasher flicks and teenagers going, ah!
I mean, we're slotted in the midnight shorts, so we are kind of with films of gore and sex. There is no sex in the film, although there is a lot of affection.
There's some pollination.
Pollination, some
that's plant porn.
Right, some vulgar scenes. But, we wanted to tell something that was authentic in a sense where, like when for example, the initial scene that I wrote was this very sort of lavish romantic scene where he sees her, she sees him, and she dies. But I saw my grandma die, and I thought, whoa, wait a minute, death is very confrontational, and this is what we're trying to evoke. We want it to be horrific and disturbing, not just for the sake of being disturbing, but to be like, some authenticity to death, was what we were trying to achieve. So,
can you tell us a little bit about filming this in Malaysia?
So the film was made with a partial grant from FINAS, which is the National Film Development Corporation of Malaysia, and half of my own savings. It was shot at a place called University Hospital and University Malaya. They're side by side. We shot it over the course of 2 days. The second day we went on to like 7 a.m. It stars Nasser Bilan Khan and Fauzia Nawi, who are two amazing veteran Malaysian actors who don't quite often do short films. I mean, I think Nasser doesn't really do short films at all, but they participated in this. They liked the story, and they hopped on. And I was able to work with my associate producer Edwin Raj, Ale Arzwan, Ella Sandra, who is an amazing Stan Winston of Malaysia. She does a lot of zombie flicks, makeup for zombie flicks. So when she heard about what we were going to do, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the film, but she does something amazing that is worth watching.
I have to agree that it was quite amazing and quite disturbing.
It's unexpected.
It was quite unexpected because and they were really good effects. Like when he picked the thing out of his skin, I'm saying the thing so you don't know.
Right.
And the whole, what happens to him at the end, I loved it. And it was so it was disturbing to watch.
We loved working with her. I mean, she had a studio out like 40 minutes out of KL, and we brought Nasser Bilan Khan there, and he just sat, with silicone being poured on his face, and all he wanted was, a drink called teh tarik, which is milk tea. And he said, I'm fine, just some cigarettes and milk tea. And he sat there for 3 hours straight, poured silicone on him, put some what do you call those cement cast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plaster.
Plaster, sorry. And he just sat, and he was the
smoking
coolest,
cigarettes and
he
drinking?
was the coolest guy. On our last day, he asked for some rice and like lamb or beef, and we got the wrong order. We got like chicken and rice, and he's like, fine, I'll just have some dates. And we had some dates, and he said, can I take this home? And I'm like, of course you can take this home. Thank you for being here,
So you said that both of the actor and the actress were, pretty well known.
Yeah.
The actress had like a scene for a minute.
Yeah.
And it was pretty epic and intense. Yeah. I think she brought a lot to that, but was she okay with just being on screen for like a minute?
Absolutely. I mean, I call her Ibu Fauzia. She's great. She read the script. I mean, she opens the film, she closes the film.
Yeah.
Spoiler, but
a creepy spoiler at the end, by the way.
Right. They've been in theater together for a long time. That's their background. Fauzia, Ibu Fauzia actually still does theater. Nasser is mostly TV dramas and films. There's a great film by a Malaysian director called Woman, Wife, and Whore, or Perempuan, Istri, dan ... This is where I discovered Nasser Bilal Khan and his intensity, you know, the sort of a Crispin Glover awkwardness, but
very much so.
yeah, you know, sometimes Christopher Walken, but Nasser Bilal Khan is Nasser Bilal Khan. I can't. I only say these names just to provide some kind of you know, an idea of what he presents.
Oh, he presented quite a bit to this film.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that this was based on a poem because, you know, I don't read a whole lot.
Right.
When you read poems, do you normally see such disturbing images?
Well, for me, it's hard to read poems. I always need someone to translate it for me, and I've had the best experience. I have a friend, his name is Ali, and he reads poetry to me like it's the most, like, you know, I've read several of Deepak Chopra's interpretations, and I find it very hard to engage in them because they're very, you know, very big words of love and love and love, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
I know exactly what you mean.
There is no one poem that this film is based on. It's just a very loose sort of taking of the visual imagery. In Iran, when I'm half Iranian, in Iran when I was a kid, if it's your birthday, Mark, I'll give you a picture of a bird and a flower. And I thought that was the dorkiest thing when I was a kid. I didn't understand, why would you send someone a picture of a bird and a flower? But, you know, little did I know that this was just this universal love. You know, I could give it to you, you know, as for someone's funeral, for someone's birthday, for someone's anniversary. It's just a universal gesture.
So they have like Hallmark stores full of bird and flower
Full
cards?
of birds and flowers. It's called Gol va Bol Bol. Bol Bol is the nightingale, Gol is the flower. So
I love it.
Rose and Nightingale, yeah.
Now the film takes on a whole new
Oscar
life.
Wilde has his own take on,
Yeah.
which is a little bit more violent, I think. Thorns and
We like
whatnot.
violence and thorns and blood.
So do I.
The music in it plays a big part. Can you tell us a little bit about?
The music is actually the third cast of the film. It's written by Dominic Biziano, a dear friend of mine, and he came on, and we wanted something percussive and sort of, you know, anxious, paranoid, nervous, and I mean, I can't call out every single instrument that he used, but he used marimbas, he used, you know, loop boxes. He's an amazing performer, musician, composer, animator, storyboard artist, filmmaker, all across the board, and it was really cool that he came on, you know. Yeah, it's kind of a musical in a way, you know.
Yeah. It was a
kind
bit
of
a musical. So my question is who got to dig all the dirt out of the sink in that one scene? Because he made quite a mess, and you know,
actually,
clean it up.
actually, our lab assistant, we had 2 lab assistants that they're not quite lab assistants. They were graduate students who actually helped sort of provide consultations to us to get our science right. You know, when we weren't just plugging instruments together. We were like, how do we make this in a way, like, how can we make it look like a heart, but have it still make sense? So Iqmal and Mariam, who were students at University Malaya in the Department of Biological Sciences, hopped on board, and Iqmal stayed on till 7 a.m. the next day. We were filming, and he was sleeping in a corner throughout the entire shoot, and by the time he woke up, he was kind of grumpy. He was like, okay, guys, yeah, just kind of, okay, we're done. I'm like, I got to clean the sink, though. He's like, don't worry about it. So I guess I'm assuming Iqmal.
Someone just cleaned up the sink for you?
Iqmal, thank you. Where is this camera?
Right over there.
Thank you, Iqmal.
So where can people see this film at South by Southwest?
They can see it at Roland's Theater tonight at about, let me just check my phone, at Roland's Theater, 10 p.m. On Thursday, March 13th at the Alamo Ritz 1 at 11 a.m., at South by Satellite at 10:30 p.m., 12 March, and at the Vimeo Theater on the 14th of March, 9:30 to 11.
So you don't have an excuse not to go watch this film.
Yeah,
You really should, because it's a little disturbing. It's kind of poetic.
Right.
And
but
now
it's full of love.
It's full of love. Very creepy love.
Right.
But, you know, blood, guts, what are you going to get from it? So good luck at South by Southwest.
Thanks, Gavin.
I look forward to see what's going to
you.
come out of you in the future. Hopefully some more fun things with more creepiness.
Thanks for having me.
Tentacles. Everything's better with tentacles, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, flowers, tentacles, petals,
Yeah,
anything.
there we go.
Yeah.